Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Michael with RC Crawling. Today I'm going to walk us through my current build, which is a Gen 1 4Runner. Got the body here, unpainted. Done a little bit of work to it. Got the chassis set up. It's just a roller right now, so let's take a look at it. Here's the chassis. Injora LCG. Injora 40mm big bore oil-filled shocks, DJ crawler wheels, Injora tires, NSDRC servo, Injora aluminum Bronco links, reversible Injora aluminum skid, flat skid, and Mofo RC nylon brass, or not brass, nylon X15 axles. Using the Bronco interior, it didn't quite fit right. You can see underneath the actual shape of it. So I used a real thin piece of styrene, painted it black to fill out the rest of it. Here's the body. I did cut out the gas cover. I will add some detail to that once the body's painted. Did a little bit of trimming on the front. It's hard to see, but kind of attacked it with a Dremel in a few spots just to get that puffy, rusty look once all the paint is done. Got the interior fitted. You can see how that now fills out the back perfectly. Our little driver, and got magnets underneath. The interior is not attached to the body, but that's how it's going to sit on there. Good looking truck so far. We're going to head to the paint booth and start working on the body paint. Alright, so we're getting ready to put some flat black primer. Just Rust-Oleum. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby or Lowe's. Probably Lowe's. Just got the body propped up on spray paint lids. So we're just going to hit it with some flat black primer, and then we'll go on to the next step. I'm not trying to make it perfect, just to get enough coverage on there, because we're really not going to see the black. See, I missed a little spot there. You don't want to go too thick. If you feel like you're getting too thick, or I kind of shiny right there where I am a little thick, just let it dry, come back, spray it at a different angle. All right, we're back. Body's painted black primer. I've got this dark brown Rust-Oleum. Maybe a little dark, but I'm going to use it. So what we're doing with this dark brown is just putting down the base of the rust color. I care even less about this, about getting a good coat. I'm just kind of hitting it pretty heavy, actually. I'll call that good enough. It's not a super good coat, which doesn't matter if some of the black though shows through when I end up doing the rust, patina, and flake effect. That'll be fine. It's going to be random. It's not going to be perfect. Just like an old car. That's what we're going for. Alright, so it's been a couple days since we sprayed the 4Runner, our base rust color. Just got it sitting on the chassis. I think it's looking excellent. So our next step, I've got 3 colors of acrylic paint. Dark chocolate, traditional burnt sienna, and burnt orange. So my idea, we start layering on these different colors, dark chocolate, burnt umber, and the burnt orange, with this being the lightest touch. A little heavier, not as much. Now, having watched quite a bit of Bob Ross, I feel that I can do this confidently. I also watched a 9-minute video on this paint effect, so I think we're an expert. Bob Ross would say darkest first layer, not as dark second layer, lightest color is our last layer. Help create the illusion of depth. And if you want to add a happy little tree, just make it look like it belongs in the scene, as Bob Ross would say. I don't know, what does he say? Anyways, we're getting carried away. Gonna dry brush this on. Got a cheap brush set and some sponges, some natural, just to get some different textures. So let's give this a shot. All right, starting with our dark chocolate. I'm using this number 8 brush. And I'm just going to stipple it on there. So get some paint in the brush, dab it on the plate, get any excess, mix it on there real good. I'm just going to start around the edges. There we go, get that to focus. And you don't want to completely cover it. I think I went a little thick there, got a little excited. And we're not dragging the brush at all. We don't want brush strokes. We just want to kind of get a random little bit of a random pattern. I'm not worrying too much. I'm not trying to control it. Some of this will be rusted, some of this won't, but I'm just going to do the whole body like this. This spot that I dremeled went a little bit heavier, but otherwise the rest of this kind of light, a little heavier in spots. It's going to be random. You're not going to make it perfect. Don't try to make it perfect or it's not going to look random. So I'm going to finish up this color and then we'll come back. All right, so this first rusty color is dried. And we're ready to move on to our second color. So for that, traditional burnt sienna. And we've got a variety of these sponges that have different textures, some natural, some man-made. I don't want it all to look uniform. So I'm going to switch from the brush to this sponge, and I kind of like that texture on that end. So dip and then blot. And on this one, I'm going to concentrate more on putting this around the edges. I looked at pictures of rusted trucks and kind of noticed the patterns of the rust where it shows up. So I'm going to do this focusing on those areas where water and dirt tend to stick around, causing that rust. So I'm not going to go up high very far on the body. I'm going to stick mainly around the wheel wells, bottom of the body, and the front. Around this gas tank, I'm going to add a little bit more underneath it, but otherwise less is more. And again, I've never done this method, so if I can do it, you can do it. On the roof, just not too much, just a little bit. Maybe a little heavier back here at the top. But we don't want to overdo it. A little bit under the window. Oh, got the mirror real good. I'm going to leave that. That was unintentional. It'll look all right. Oh, there's another big dab. I'm going to thin that out a little bit. Try to pick some of that up with a clean part of the sponge. That's all I'm going to do for this second layer. Just a little bit, just a hint and flavor of that other color. So I'm going to leave this to dry, and then we'll finish up with the third. Our second color has dried. It's been, I don't know, 20-ish minutes. These acrylic paints dry fast. I didn't do as much as the base that we brushed on, since it's lighter. It shows up more. But it's starting to look pretty good, I think. And while we were waiting for the paint to dry, just smeared a little bit of brown of our dark chocolate on the roof accessories. This is from SCX24 Bronco, but it's going to sit on top, and then light bar in front of that. Just keeping with the aesthetic, making stuff look used, not brand new. So for our third layer of rust, we're going to use this burnt orange. And it's much brighter than our other colors, so any bit we put on here is going to really be noticeable. And I want this to look more like a surface rust, and I really like the texture of this sponge. I mean, just look at that, that's pretty cool. So what I did, just cut off a small corner, because I want to be able to be pretty precise with my placement on this. Get some of that good texture, those holes, make it real random. Again, real important, get a little bit of paint, dab it off. Oh yeah, you can see on the plate, that looks awesome. All right, so I'm going to concentrate again on the edges. So around the wheel wells, bottom of the body, underneath the windows, and on leading edges. So we're going to be sparing with this. I'm not even going to do it all the way across, just on these outside corners. Just where you think rust is going to want to form. And this is that bright, bright surface rust, so you don't want it to be uniform, you don't want to create a pattern, so rotate this sponge in your hand as you place it. I'm going to go back for a little bit of paint, make sure to dab it off so you can start seeing that random pattern on your plate, and then come back and just light touches. I'm going to do the mirror since we got a big glob on there, just around the bottom. Skip areas because this is not going to be uniform when it's rusty. It's random. And you can copy these colors that I've used. I went to Hobby Lobby and just found the 99-cent paint. Grabbed what I thought looked like rust colors. But maybe you're doing a sci-fi build like Adam on Cape Crawlers. And maybe in your world, your rust is purple, lime green, and I don't know, maybe blue. You can change this up. Create same effect in different colors. Just have fun with it. A little bit on the mirror, about underneath the door, maybe this side, sat under a tree. Got pretty rusty on the top side here. Less so on the bottom. So on the roof, just a few dabs. You see that pattern looks the same, so I need to rotate my sponge. That, I think, is we're gonna call that good. Maybe a little bit here. but not too much. And of course that'll darken as it dries. You can see where we first started, it's already darkened up some than where we just put it on. So don't panic if it looks super bright. It'll be all right. So I think that looks pretty good. We're going to let this dry. And then we're going to seal it in with some clear matte spray paint. So we want to keep this rust in place. We want this to stay this way. I almost forgot. I said we're on to clear coat next. We are not. What we're doing now, so I'm taking a little bit of Tester's Flat Black. Picked it up Hobby Lobby. Gonna be old for a minute. $2.69. I used to pay under 99 cents for this. Some thinner. You could use naphtha. That's what I usually use. My gallon jug of it rusted through and leaked, so picked up some from Hobby Lobby. I'm using a wide brush. I'm going to dab this a bit. I don't want it too thick. I'm just going to brush thin coat over the whole surface. It dulls down our brights and our darks sink into the background more. I don't know if you can even tell on camera what this is doing. It's a little thick right there, so just brush it out thin. So just adding a little bit more depth to your rust. A little bit of dirt build up. You don't need to be real careful with it. So it looks nice and bright, too clean. Wash it with this black. Very, very thin black. This will just help give it a nice muted, aged look. This is oil-based paint. These are strong VOCs. Best done in a well-ventilated area. Maybe I shake because of this stuff. I used to paint models as a kid. So that's it. Black wash is done. Kind of pooling in the corners. That's okay, you can leave it. I'm gonna spread mine out. You can see where it's still at. We'll leave this to dry and then we'll move on to clear coat. We're back outside after letting this dry. Looks really good in the sunlight. We're going to hit it with satin clear to keep all this rust on here. I sprayed that extremely heavy. It might flake, it might not. If it doesn't, great. If it does, great. It's meant to look beat up and rusty when we're finished. So we're going to let that dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, it's been 4 days since we clear coated the rust. In that time, I got excited and tried out my metallic Sharpie just to see what it would look like on the bumper. Looks pretty cool. And I also decided that the roof is going to be black, so I taped that off and sprayed it with the black primer that we started with. So now it's time to tape the roof off so we can do the final top coat on the body using our special sauce to get our rust effect that we're looking for. So I will do that, and then we will get these next few steps started. Alright, we're all taped up and ready to go to our next step. So we're going to use the special sauce hairspray. I just picked up the cheapest can, which was Suave Essentials Flexible Hold. We're going to put 4 or 5 coats down, let it dry in between. Is what we're going to want to happen is the hairspray will be in between the clear coat we put on here and the top coat we're going to put on, and it'll help that top coat flake off so all of our hard work on the rust will show through. So just spraying it on here just like we do spray paint. I will get this finished. It's super windy today. Audio quality is probably terrible, so I'm gonna quit talking. I'm gonna get this sprayed down, and then once all the coats are on there and dry, we will come back to it and get our final top coat sprayed on it. I said it was a little windy. We're getting 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Actually calming right now. Normally I wouldn't recommend painting on a day like this, but with the patina we're going for, doesn't matter if it gets dirt in it, messed up, gets blown around, that's fine, but just wanted to show the crazy wind we're having. Been a couple days. We're going to do this top coat. Didn't really want gloss, but that's okay. I'm going to spray over it with a flat clear so it'll go away, but using this navy blue Rust-Oleum, I did end up putting on 4 coats of our special sauce, our hairspray, real thick. It was so windy, I just basically had to hold the nozzle on it. Less windy today, so we're going to go ahead and give this a light coat because we are going to end up scraping this off. All right, we'll call that first coat done. I'm going to do a couple more coats once this dries. I'll give it about 20-30 minutes. I'll get all the coats done and then we'll come back and finish up this paint job. All right, it's been a few days. Top coat is completely dry. Pulled off the paint. And now it's time to rust it up. So we've got a wet toothbrush. And the theory is, here we'll just start scrubbing on it. This is a soft toothbrush that I'm using. I don't know if this is the best thing to use. A harder brush might work well. But really, we just start scrubbing on it. Starting to see something. A little bit's coming through, so I'm going to keep working on this. It's going to take a little bit of elbow grease and some time just to scrape off the paint. Let that rust show through. It's starting to show through. So I'll keep working on this and we'll check back in. All right, we're making some progress here. The rust is showing through. Taking the time to look at some photos of some rusty trucks is a good idea. So this is the side we've not yet done. Haven't done the front. Got this side started. I'm impatient, so I got a stiffer brush and also a knife. Just scratching the paint a little bit with this to get it started. So I'll show you. We'll just pick this back corner. Just kind of scratching it, dragging the edge over the surface of the paint. And when it starts foaming, that's a good sign. You know that you've reached the special sauce, hairspray, and that's going to cause the paint to start flaking. So I'll work on this a little bit. I just switch back and forth. You're trying to get random flaking. So I figure multiple directions. Indigo's helping real good. Thank you, kitty. Give it back, kitty. Okay, thank you, kitty. Watch out. So just like that, the rest starts to show through. Takes a little bit of work. So I'm going to keep working on this, and then we'll check back in. All right, I'm going to call it finished. I really liked scraping the knife on it. It was fast. I'm impatient. And since if you just do it lightly, it kind of skips over the paint. Fell in something, picked up some litters. It kind of skips over the paint and just takes off the high spots, which I think looks perfect. Went a little hard on this side, which is fine. You can see the paint kind of started to melt. Looks like it melted. But it just looks junky, which is exactly what we were going for. So overall, I'd call it a success. So never done it, turned out great. You can do it too. Final step will be to clear coat over this to keep any more paint from coming off, but of course, it'll continue to get rock rash as we drive it. But very cool effect. Looks great. If you stuck around this long, thanks for making it to the end. I think it came out pretty cool. Added a few stickers since I finished the Rusty Patina, thanks to Bumpy Sticky. Got some more detail work to do on this thing, but that's everything to how to do a Rusty Patina. The only thing I haven't done yet or shown is another clear coat. So you'll want to clear coat over all this to make sure it stays, because it will continue to flake off if you don't. Leave a comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I hope this was helpful to somebody.